No, it's just in my right, which one ear? Yeah, exactly. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you great. Got the fighter pilot helmet on. That's good. That's good. He can't hear me right now. It's fine. I know. Thanks for waiting for me. I'm sorry about that. I know you're busy and you got to get home and everything. You got a family, so I
I appreciate that. It's that I woke up at 4:20 this morning in Maine, worked from 9 to now on patients, and I'm still here. It has nothing to do with this. It's got nothing to do with this.
Maine,
Maine.
like the state Maine.
Yeah, like the state Maine.
Wait, why? How did this happen?
I spend a lot of my time these days building the platform, Max. And so let's just say we're interested in growing our footprint outside of our current 5 states.
You're looking at Maine.
Maybe,
Maybe.
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe.
And then you didn't drive back? You didn't
No,
train
I
back?
flew. I actually, I did meetings all day yesterday, and then 4:30 flight, dinner, Embassy Suites, coffee at 4:20 this morning, 4:40 shuttle to the airport, 6 a.m. flight, landed at let's say 7:30, office by 8:20, first patient at 9, nonstop till 5:15, letters to doctors about new doctors joining Max and new practices partnering with Max, and now this. So anyone who wants to do platform building for a living, give me a call. I can kind of give you some advice.
What's platform building?
So listen, man, everybody in dentistry and healthcare knows physician service businesses or any kind of practitioner, clinician, whatever, knows that there's a lot of private equity investment interest or whatever. You know this. You hear these words from me all the time. I mean, I I never built Riverside to sell to private equity. I built it to deliver the best possible care to patients, period. The optimal patient experience, whole thing, kind of building hospitality and healthcare. And then when people came knocking at my door, it was clear to me that I didn't want to sell to a general dental DSO. I didn't want to sell to a multi-specialty group. I was definitely right about both of those things because anyone who did turned out to be relatively unhappy in the oral surgery space. Pure play oral surgery platforms that are in existence, there are a couple that are very good. There's one that I love, I've spoken about multiple times. And then I decided to start my own. So I found direct investment through private equity guys who were amazing and continue to be amazing to support the vision for really the leading Northeast surgeon-led platform. We started in September of 22. It was just Riverside Oral Surgery. In January of 23, Oral Surgery Group joined us. And we are 5x revenue what we were at that time, 7x technically what Riverside Oral Surgery was. We're in 35 locations, nearly 50 surgeons, 5 states, 15 brands we support, one vision. And that's basically what we're doing.
And as far as platforming, you were mentioning that's just bringing it all together. Or are you talking about more like digital platforms? You're talking
No,
about
no, I'm talking about basically a platform. Max is a platform that
yeah.
supports all these oral surgery brands, and
Yep.
that's basically what we do. And so for me, as the surgeon leader, if you will, and the founder, I spend a lot of my time in what the private equity guys call business development, basically, meeting with and explaining why Max is different and what makes Max different. And that's what I do, obviously in
It's,
addition to treating patients. And
yeah, and waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning in
yeah, that was
Maine and then
just today.
flying.
Typically, I'm not waking up at 4 in the
Oh
morning.
yeah. Of course. No, it's a busy lifestyle, and you're only getting busier and busier. How many days a week are you in the office now?
3.5, I still see patients. Yeah.
Still seeing three. You're still 3.5, so you haven't cut back on production at all.
Yeah, I'm actually year over year growing, which is crazy on fewer days. I saw patients, I think I was budgeted to see patients like 159 days this year, and I saw so far, I think I'm like I think I should probably end up seeing patients like 166 days this year, something like that, which
You're
is
over.
significantly fewer days than last year. But I grew. So, and I do the other stuff. I'm not like looking to toot my horn. I love the surgery, so it's not like I love doing the surgery, and so like I'm very very lucky. A lot of people will say to me like, "Well, why do you still do surgery?" I That's what I love, so I will continue to do that as long as my hands and my
Yeah.
eyes and my back allow me to.
Yeah, and then in the back too, and the Achilles tendon, right?
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right.
But for sure, no, I know, and I know you love that. I love that. That's why
Yeah,
it's got to be hard especially at this transition when like you're waking up and you got all this other stuff going on to still be able to have that time to do that and be growing at the same time. You can't, if you're growing, you can't shy away from that. I'm starting to learn about
yeah,
that a little bit more. Hey, so it's actually a theme when we're talking about Max. Is there any way you could adjust your camera to the map in the back? It's been a theme on all of our podcasts to show the growth. Do you remember? It was just your
yeah.
jersey. Do you remember
Of
that?
course.
This is two
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah, for sure.
So this is special if you can. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you see
Look at that.
basically that's not even the full footprint actually. We have by the end of Q1 2020 we should have 60 surgeons if all goes as planned.
Mm.
Multiple locations that are basically expansions of where we currently exist and to fill in some space between. So
And
yeah.
didn't you have like a Vermont up there? I don't see it.
Yeah, we have
I don't see. Oh,
they're
maybe
there.
it's in the glare.
They're
Is that
there.
what it
No,
is?
no, they're
There
up
it is.
there.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so the funny thing about Vermont. Okay, so I started Riverside in Bergen County. Bergen County has over 1 million people. 1 million documented people living in Bergen County. More than that,
Mm-hmm.
um, and this entire state of Vermont has something like 600,000. It's supported by I think a total of 11 or 12 oral maxillofacial surgeons. Of the 11 or 12 oral maxillofacial surgeons in Vermont, 6 of them are max surgeons.
So half
And
of them. Yeah.
yeah, so in the Burlington and supported areas or surrounding areas, that's where we primarily exist.
That's kind of nice. It's a small pond up there in Vermont. If you could get all 11 or 12,
It'll
that
be
would
a,
be a pretty big statement for Max to cover the entire state. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
that's is that the goal?
The goal is to find the right partners.
The right.
You
Yeah.
you don't you know you don't always need to partner with practices just because they exist and actually if I've learned anything I've learned a lot in the last few years. But one of the things I've learned is, like I was a guy like I wanted to buy everything, when it started. I really did. But you find that the right partners are exponentially uh, better to have in your corner than just to have numbers. And especially now as
Yeah.
things have changed in that private equity healthcare backed kind of world. I'm sorry, healthcare private equity backed world. It's not really just about growth for growth's sake. It's about growth, you know, in very specific ways. So,
Yeah, yeah, in those specific ways, you gotta have strong partners in order to gain progress. Hey, what? Here's a good question. What do you look for? What are the top three things you look for in a partner? If they're a true partner, what are some of the qualities, numbers? Like, give me some.
so honestly, for me, and I've never been like a quantitative guy. I need guys who are gonna care about their patients, who are going to do all those things that are really kind of maybe considered like a little more subtle in terms of building relationships. Whenever I interview anybody for a position, I take for granted that they have the requisite skill set, hand skills, technical skills, brain. What they need is the ability to talk to humans and interact with humans and
Mm,
treat their team well, treat referring doctors well, treat doctors who are collaborators well. We have now quite the group of people. We just came out of our surgeons meeting. We did it up in the Poconos for a weekend 2 weeks ago, kind of just unplug, detach, and focus on health and wellness and each other.
mm,
And nowhere else has it been more apparent that you need people who can get along with each other. That's what I look for. Actually, funny enough, like I say, I learned that, and I did. I mean, I'm definitely more aware of it. But realistically, I kind of knew that Cho and I, when we would interview people in the beginning, it was really all about like, can we sit and have a beer? right? Can you? I think I've probably said that on your podcast before.
Oh yeah.
Like, can you sit and just kind of hang out and bullshit with the person? And if you can, then that might be a person that you want to partner with. If you can't, not at all. I mean, there. This is not bullshit. It might sound like bullshit. People say this kind of shit. The fact of the matter is there are many practices that are available that don't fit the bill,
They don't fit. Yeah.
and it's almost never because of the financial piece of it. It's almost always because of like something that's clear, glaring, a problem about the personality or issues with, like we're doing like unofficial due diligence, official due diligence. Most of the time, we don't even get to the official due diligence piece
Really?
if we are not aligned in terms of the way we feel about people as humans. But
I completely follow there.
yeah.
How many? So if you don't even get to that point, before you get to that point, you're meeting with them. You're how many like meetings or there's a couple of phone calls, probably virtual meetings. Then you go and meet someone in person.
Yeah, well, so we have a business development team, headed up by a guy named Brian Lawson, who's great, brilliant, can take a deal from like conception and take it internally. There's a whole process to do deals, and then to bring it all the way through. He has two people who work under him that are exceptional as well, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant people. But I work with Brian very closely, and most of the partnerships that we bring into Max are friends of friends. It's basically because of the fact that we have such good guys that are willing to actually go out and kind of support the concept.
Yeah, yeah, and
Do we
network.
grow, right?
Yeah.
um, but the fact is that Brian will source deals, and then I will go meet people. So too will my COO Jeff DeBellis. So too will my co-CEO Mark Soprano, other surgeon leaders, and other surgeons in the organization, and sometimes some of the finance guys who back us.
Hmm.
And we go, we sit, we talk, we meeting of the minds. If we agree that it's something that we want to pursue, then we move forward with like initial due diligence. Just there's a certain amount of information that we need to create an LOI, letter of intent, and then the LOI generally is negotiated, which should be, can be, whatever. And then ultimately official due diligence. And that official due diligence could take a couple months. And then before you know it, you have more family members at the table.
So it's a few months after, still before the letter of intent, and then after the letter of
No,
intent.
I mean it depends. It depends on most of the limitation is actually on the sell side, believe it or not, in the sense of timing, because most people don't have the infrastructure that they need to have to provide the information as
Yeah,
rapidly as when you have a team of people who are looking for the information. When I
yeah,
did my deal, in 22, I was fortunate enough to have a team of people who were able to compile it and provide the data to the people who required it,
yeah,
because knowing me, working the way I do with the bandwidth that I have and with the not OCD, the ADD that I have and all that kind of stuff, there would have been no way at all that I would have been able to provide that information in a timely manner. So
mm,
that's what it is.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, a lot going on, a lot that goes into this. So, I mean, you're
Yes.
still in expansion mode. You're still going.
Of course. Of course.
In addition to Maine, I mean, that's going to be a far step for you. Is there anything in between here?
It's
Because I've seen
actually
your.
less. It's actually there are multiple between here and there, in progress. And yeah, that's actually much closer, believe it or not, than Burlington, Vermont by a significant margin.
Mm,
So we'll see. We will see.
mm. It's always exciting. But that's a lot for you to, 4 o'clock this morning, then come back. I won't keep you too long, too. I want to be mindful, very mindful of you. Thank you for taking the time to do this, by the way,
Oh,
while I have a
please.
chance to remember.
No.
It's becoming a tradition, a yearly get
Yeah,
on here and chat a little bit.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Another thing, while just I got it on my mind, I need to thank you also. There was through the grapevine, some advice that you had passed through that made it back to me, and I want to thank you for that. And
What was that?
I could always text you later, but I just wanted to let you know, with the content, and now content changes, right? Because it was residency and always mentorship, because that's very important to me. But it was mostly like residency, and now you get out and work, and in residency, you could talk about like, well, it changes as the work changes, as the responsibilities change. I'm learning because I don't know everything. I'm learning that what you can and probably shouldn't make content about changes as well, because I think it's important to be always transparent, but then actually what you talk about, what people are interested in, but not what everyone is interested in needs to be talked about. And I don't know, maybe that kind of explains the hints there, but no. So
Yeah,
I always
no,
appreciate mentorship from
no,
you.
no, no. Of course. First of all, I mean, like I've said to you, you can always reach out to me at any time. I'm happy to discuss anything. Yeah, listen, I mean, in anything you do, you have to consider your audience and consider who might not even be an intended audience, who is your audience,
Mm.
and that's just it. Listen, man, you live and you learn, and we all do, as I think about the things that I say anywhere at any time. I actually, I learn. I'm constantly learning. I turned 52 last week, and
Happy
um,
birthday. Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
This year is your
yeah,
birthday.
thank you. So I turned 52, and I'm like, you hear me. I'm not like anywhere near where I intend to be. So there's constant learning. There's always going to be. There needs to
And you
be.
know what's nice is the people that follow you, you put into action. You know what I mean? I know there was, I mean, because you were putting out, the day cycle on the days consecutive of working out. Some people, I know it's different content. I love that stuff. I got to be honest because it's a different dimension. It's showing tenacity, it's showing dedication, and people stick with that. I love that. I wanted to give you a shout out for that too.
I
That's a
appreciate
good
that.
thing to stick with.
Listen,
And
it gets to be for someone like yourself who works out regularly anyway, it's not something that even maybe registers with you in terms of something that would be. So for me, it was a journey. It was something that I met a guy, hired him as a coach, John Russo, and we were trying to consider, well, I guess he wasn't trying. He considered the ways of keeping me accountable, and that was clear to him, and it was a blind spot of mine. And it worked. I mean, it really did work. Now it's just part of what I do every day, and I don't post it so much every day anymore. I do, like, everyone, friends of mine would be like, "Dude, everyone works out. It's not a big deal." Like my boys who bust my balls or whatever it is. Like, that's totally cool. But ultimately, I'd still do it every single day, whether it's, a half an hour at night or 20 minutes in the morning, or every single day I do something.
yeah,
And so it's been quite the journey. I mean, I've dropped a ton of weight, much stronger, feel much better, much more energy. It's a whole different thing. I mean, I'm exhausted in this moment. That's probably coming through, but at the same time, I have a ton more energy day
I
to
can
day.
tell. And your
Thank you.
frame, you could see your frame is really starting to show again too. Like
Thank
like
you.
in a good way, not like in a really good way.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that,
and
man.
you have a lot more structure here too. Yeah, I gotta throw a compliment here and there.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
But yeah, I do think that the content helps to keep you on track. I know exactly what you mean by that.
Yeah.
And no, you said like it's not as obvious for some people. It's not. And as we get older, not as obvious how, making the time to actually get some exercise and work out. No, people, when you're in high school, it's like, oh yeah, I can work out every day. I don't know how people grow up and they can't work out every day. And then you get to college and it's like you get more time, it gets harder. And then you hit dental school and you're like, all right, this can be tough.
Right.
And then residency, it's like, all right, you're not working out every day in residency.
Right.
And
No,
then
no,
after
it would have
residency,
been
you're
no
like,
way.
and that's the thing too. Something I noticed is after you finish residency, it's like you think you're going to get all this time back, and you don't. There's a lot more commuting. There's a lot more like meetings and phone calls, like we talked about. There's a lot more the board studying for this first 6 to 9 months out. The board studying is really killing me. It's like,
It's, I mean, it's, first of all, it's just a matter of, I'm not going to speak to, like, just focus on working out. You're fine. But what I am going to say is, when you transition into these different phases, there are different demands on your time, not less, not fewer, just significantly different. And you'll see, like, you'll finish your boards, and that will have taken up so much of your time in this moment, and then something will come up in your practice and you'll say, "Oh shit, I got to focus on, referral management or whatever it is."
yeah,
You'll feel like, you're constantly working on something. Anyone who it turns into anything is constantly working on themselves. Worry more about the process. I know this also sounds like bullshit, but you worry more about the process, not the result. And if you focus on that, then the result will always come. So if your goal is to build an incredible practice and you focus on those little details, like I've always spoken about, like, I really do believe that that whole attention to detail and everything and anything is that's real. And so if you build little building blocks along the way, at the end you look back and you're like, holy shit, look what happened. I mean, I so I have we have I think something like 360 or 370 team members at Max now.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
We had like 100 people at the Max surgeon meeting. I mean, it's just surgeons and and some other people, and uh, it was pretty amazing. It really, like, I'm not one to pat myself on the back, and I certainly did not do it all. But the fact that this all came from, there was no Riverside oral surgery, none,
Mhm.
none. And now there is this that stemmed from it, and it's
Yeah.
just it's mind blowing. Actually, I was with these surgeons last night, and one of the surgeons, who's a little bit older, not much, mentioned that he has a friend who has a business in a completely different business. And the surgeon, was talking about the fact he goes out to his parking lot when they do their monthly meetings, and he looks around and sees how many cars of people who are, like, who work in his practice.
Mhm.
And to him, it's like all these people, he takes care of them, in the sense, like, without the practice, that they
Yeah.
have
No
other
job.
jobs, but whatever. I mean, all these people are they have their jobs because of him. And the other guy mentioned is like, I count car seats. And if you think about how many families, how many children, how many people, how many extended relations there are that are dependent on kind of this idea that turned into something. And I just really firmly believe it's still early. It's like very humbling. It's special. And I'm just now, at this point in my life, like, appreciating, accepting, and realizing, and taking a moment to kind of maybe accept that maybe something is going on that's good. So just
And
now,
continuing to go on.
just
Yeah.
now,
Just now. I
just
mean, there
now.
was always things to, because you
Mm,
had some,
not really.
when you,
Not really.
no,
Not
never
really.
before.
I am not one to, people say, like, you should be proud of yourself. And I believe that. I think your generation more, like, celebrates shit. Like, we were just like, put your head down, do it, and do whatever it is. And we've talked
Yeah.
about stuff like this before. But
Yeah.
but basically, I don't believe in that. Like, congratulations. Like, no, like, this is what I did, this is whatever. But now I'll give it a little bit, like, I'm just starting, like, okay, yeah, something's good, it's good. Max is pretty freaking special. It's different. I mean, it's the message is resonating with people. It's
Hmm.
building. It's like we're like on a mission, and we're things are working, so it's good.
They're really working.
Yeah,
They're
they
really
really are.
working.
They really are. Yeah, yeah.
It's growing. One of the concerns I have is because, I mean, Max is built on the back of you. And now you have all these incredible surgeons, but it's surgeon led and it's surgeon led by the top of the top. And you're one of those top of the top.
Thank you, sir.
But you also have a presence. You have a presence out there, whether it be social media, whether it be out there at the Amos meeting, whether you know what I'm saying. But you go there. One is presence. Two is leadership. Three is communication. You mentioned those two things earlier, and then four is like the ability to do it. You were up at 4 a.m. in Maine today, and then you flew back. You had a full day of work. You actually saw patients today.
Oh yeah.
You didn't sit behind a counter and just take the
Nope.
phone calls all day. I don't think any. I don't know of anyone out there that can replace that.
So it's part of the. I mean, listen, we have incredible surgeons in this organization, uh, that are, like, both homegrown, and that are becoming part of. I mean, we just brought on Dr. Vinny Correo. I don't know if you know who he is.
Correo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correo.
Vinny, like, Steve Roser. Does the name Steve Roser mean anything to you? So Steve Roser was the program director, then chairman at Columbia, and then went to Emory. He's like, well on in his career, giant in the field, special, like, unbelievable guys trained. I don't know, however many hundreds of residents have come through. Vinny was the next guy. He was the chief of the department. He was at Columbia, and he was at
Yeah.
Mount Sinai, and so now he's a board examiner, it's like a more senior guy at A bombs, and now he's part of Max. We've got these guys with gravitas and pedigree and drive and real experience who believe enough in what we're doing. So it's not just like the deno-alveolar guy who's also, you know, got this Instagram social media thing. It's actually guys who are, microvascular trained or cleft and craniofacial, like Mike Perino, and like these guys who are really like top surgeons. And you need all of it. You need complementary skill sets, but a defined vision. And so, whereas maybe I bring the vision, a little bit of the face, the energy, whatever it is, these guys all support the concept and bring something that I don't bring. I mean, we have a guy, Mogioros from Philly, who trained under the guy who started Clear Choice, and
Mm.
so has a perspective on full arch that we as individual practices didn't necessarily have. We're right now under LOI with a practice that the guy is like a legend and has a ton to bring to the table, and we really look for people who can add,
Yeah.
because I do think it's the collaboration that makes this place really, really special. If you think about it, I mean, I have guys from all different practices who talk to each other about clinical stuff,
Mm.
non-clinical stuff, referral management stuff, business stuff, HR stuff, whatever it is that is of in the mind of the doctor at that moment. You have a network of humans who have done it and continue to do it, mentorship
Mm.
and things like that. It's all this stuff is built in over time, but that's why you find good people. So that's
That
what
is
we're doing.
true. I mean, you have the ultimate support and community within Max to do that. All the specialties, all the
Yeah,
subspecialties, all the little niches. Yeah, no, I agree.
yeah.
I agree. I'm going to be curious to see. I mean, let's be honest. We got 20, probably 30 plus years
For
of you.
me,
I'm just,
no, not in 30 years. 30, I'm dude. Let me explain. I'll be doing something in 30 years. I'll be doing something in 30 years. But I don't know. Maybe I'll be telling stories on a couch somewhere in
you're
Tuscany.
just a little tired today. That's fine.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you'll be like, I got this.
I mean, 20 years, yeah. But 30 years, that's a long time. I'll be 82 years old. No one wants to hear from me at 82 years old. Really.
I don't know. I don't
Maybe
know.
like, war stories and
All
stuff like
things are-
that. But, you know.
Do you have any war stories that come up right now? So we could also.
Nah,
Today
no.
was a war story.
Today was today was a war story. It was. I mean, it was. The day turned out beautifully. It really did. But getting up at 4 this morning, getting on a plane, and then having to like look at the day and figure that
Mm.
piece of it out was tough, but it was good.
Brought you back to those residency days, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you do what you got to do. I had 4 cups of coffee today. I think I also had 3 bagels, which was definitely not good. Cortisol was fucking. It was flowing.
4 cups of coffee. Do you do any energy drinks too, or no?
No, 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 no.
Good.
My day to day, I do none of that. I take creatine. And I try to eat a lot of protein and not so much in terms of carbs. I have one venti iced coffee from Starbucks every day, and then typically in the afternoon I do like a hot coffee. But that's what I put in my system.
Do you get the PSL, Vente PSL? Do you know
The
what the
protein
PSL?
thing is that the
No, the pumpkin spice latte.
no, no,
Or
no, no, no,
just joking around.
no, no, no. I no. And
Have you seen the meme where it's like the tough Italian guy
yeah,
walking out
they passed
and
the
then
thing.
he puts the
Yeah, it's great.
That's just all.
Yeah,
We
no, I
kind of
love it.
reference the meme once in a while. I think it's hilarious.
So do I. I think it's great. How's
No, I don't
how's
do the.
how's everything going at All County? What's
It's great. Yeah,
yeah,
let me throw the little. It's going great. It's going
beautiful.
great. I get Dr. Chapkins in the office. So yeah, that's where we're at right now for listeners. And yeah, Dr. Chavkin, he's in the office twice a week, Mondays, Thursdays. So I get some time here and there to talk with him. We do a phone call once a week. I try and pick his brain
Right.
here and there. I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot directly and also indirectly too. Because when he's not there, I'm trying to find out like how do you put this all together? How does he coordinate that? And how long the assistants have been here? Oh, cool. What do you like about this? What could I do better that you see Dr. Chavkin do that I don't do yet? and stuff like that. And it's a growing organization too.
Oh yeah,
I think that's something that, I mean, now it's like 8, 9 offices now from Manhattan out to, I'm in the Melville office, but so many in multiple surgeons here as well. It's cool because it's in that growing phase where you came from, and now he's growing into, and the organization of all
yeah,
counties growing in that direction. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
yeah.
I just hired a COO,
I saw
and
that.
so that's a new development, and seeing how that's coordinated. We had a meeting today actually, so that's new.
Yeah.
And but yeah, yeah,
That's good. I mean, you'll see what happens is, I mean, in order to really grow, you need to professionalize certain things. And a lot of it comes from, this entrepreneurial spirit that needs to be maintained. Because if you lose that and it becomes all organized, you lose kind of that grit that you need to really kind of keep the culture as what it is. But at the same time, you really see there are tremendous benefits to organizing things. Um, like my COO Jeff DeBellis, who was with me from before there was any outside investment. The guy, he is a different brain than mine, and so it's like sometimes I know what needs to be done, but the ability to actually put it into action and make it in a way that's organized, reproducible, scalable, and all of that. It's a different skill set, and that's part of the whole collaborative approach, complementary skill sets thing, because you can't be everything, and Ross can't be everything, and you're going to bring things to the equation that Ross doesn't have. He has a ton of shit that you can learn from. He and I talk about things. It's good to be able to have
he's
uh,
talking shit about me. He's talking shit
just
about
a
me.
little bit of shit, just a little bit of shit. But you,
No, I
but you
know, I know.
deserve it. You deserve a little bit of shit. We all do. No, no, no. Ross. Really, you will learn a lot from Ross, and should take the opportunity to pick his brain. Whenever I have a young associate, and the, if any guys see this, maybe it's a call out. When I have young associates, guys who start out who are capable in many many ways and have much to bring that I don't have, but who don't use the opportunity to
Mm,
like sit here and just listen to me and like through osmosis like pick some shit up. You're
yeah.
talking about a guy, if I even wasn't who I am or what I have, whatever skill set that I have, but I've just been doing it for 20 years longer,
Mm,
you can learn. But I also have like a little bit of a separate type of skill set on top of the fact that I've been
a
doing it.
lot.
So like I just feel, and Russ, different but the same concept, right?
Hmm.
So you can definitely just don't let that opportunity to kind of learn from him pass you by, because there's a ton. I'm not saying pass you by in the sense that it's going anywhere, but I mean
Yeah.
take the opportunity in a way that you can like pick it up, take what you like. If it's good, stick with it, adapt it, use it. If you don't like
Yeah.
it, forget about it. Change it up, ignore it, whatever it is. But just definitely like hear it because it's good. It's there. I mean, he's built a very successful business for himself. He really has.
Oh, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure. I'm not passing anything by. I mean, we just implemented a month ago that I call him once a week, and we
yeah.
just catch up on the
I'm
week.
not
We talk about
suggesting
all the
you are
strategy. You
at
know what I
all.
mean?
I'm not. I'm
Oh yeah.
just
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm really not. I'm just saying, just do also.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I think the weekly phone call with someone in the organization for people listening to this. I mean, you can't be taking a phone call from 50 surgeons every once a week, but it's the concept, you know.
you know what though? I do think so sometimes when over the arc of a business there you sometimes you lose sight of some of the things that are important, and I think you spend time on something that you might see as a problem or a development that you need to focus on, and you miss out on some of the other things that you used to do or whatever it is. So I actually, as part of my action plan for
Mm.
2026, plan on being much more involved with not all the brands, because I mean
Yeah,
it is almost impossible, but certainly those that are very very close to me geographically on a regular basis.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. No, that would be nice if you could get more feet in the ground, or at least kind of touching. You said that chat where people can ask questions and mention things. That's definitely a good way where your leadership would continue to shine through that. If you could have that like connection, that touch here and there with the surgeons that you got. And I know you're doing that. I know you're doing that. It
yeah,
gets so hard when you're
it is hard. It is
Maine in
hard.
the morning and you're New Jersey in the afternoon and the whole day and working and
Yeah, it is hard.
yeah, that can be tough. So one of the things I actually now that you got to mention it, listeners that haven't seen or heard the this is part three. This is our part three. The other one's part one and two. We were talking about how Dr. Chaffin, who's my boss, Dr. Auerbach and Dr. Chaffin went to Kings County together. They were there at the same time, and
True.
so running on that, you guys have a lot of similar work ethic. I mean, he's in Manhattan twice a week. He's in Melville twice a week. He's in the New Hyde Park office. So he's in three separate offices twice a week each. And it's like that's like your day to day where you were in Maine. Now you're in New Jersey, and it's like you're getting up at 4. So you guys, no, like mentors.
I appreciate it. So
Impressive.
similar work ethic. I think we come about it at it from different places. He works clinically considerably more than I do. He's always has, even when he was in residency and he started that practice. The guy he's a machine when it comes to patients. He really is. It's different, but the thread of similarity is that we just don't stop. And frankly, there are other guys from the county who are just hard workers. I mean, it's just ingrained in us, and it comes through, the family tree, if you will. I have yet to find an oral maxillofacial surgery guy who's come through the county who is not a hard worker. Many of us have become notable in different ways. Like
Mm.
I was at Amos. I'm hanging out with Dongsu Kim, Dave Kim, who
Thank you.
runs Shreveport, and Sean McClure, who's down in Florida, and Reza Balorian, who's now doing facial cosmetics, facial plastic surgery. And just I can name 1,000 guys who are really unbelievably, guys and women as well,
Yeah.
who are unbelievably successful in their own vertical. Danita Dalram, who's just mind blowing, and just they're just names after names after names of people who trained around my time who have distinguished themselves in different ways. Shout out to the county. It's a special
Oh yeah.
place. Steve, yeah, Steve,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that guy's. I mean, talk about work ethic. I mean, he's out there doing a ton. He's an impressive guy. I don't know him as well. I
Mm.
respect him, but I don't know him as well. But yeah. I mean, he's built a name for himself for sure.
It's going good. And also, just thinking about the days that you were, say, 10 years ago, 2015, or towards the beginning of Riverside, when you were at several offices, you were probably working closer to at least 4 days a week, right?
Oh, I was working.
Yeah.
I started. I was working 6 days a week, and then it went
Yeah.
to five. I guess it's been five for a while. It had been five for a while. It went to four probably 4 years ago. So I was 48, 47
Mm.
years old. Um, and then 3.5. I mean, still technically, many people would say I work 4 days a week. I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 to 5, zero lunch. And I work uh, Fridays, 9 to 2 or 3, depending on need. That's more or less 4 days a week. I'm pretty productive. And then I work, every night I'm out or doing something. And Mondays I take meetings all day long. So
Mm.
and then on the weekends I'm constantly working, emails and things like that, phone calls. And
Emails, calls, flying back
yeah,
and forth.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. In those days, in those 3.5 days a week, what are some of your favorites of like just I want to give people a side of the surgery, the surgeon in Dr. Auerbach as well, bloody tooth guy. What are some of your favorite like what's some of your day to days? You know?
I mean, it's funny. This stuff is just very, very routine dental stuff, and I like it. I love it. I do it well. Patients appreciate it. I do a ton of wisdom teeth. I do a ton of dental implants. I love exposures. I've like kind of made a name for myself with exposures. Standard bone grafting. I do a fair amount of full arch. I'm not a pterygoid guy. I'm still like in this. This is where I find myself becoming seemingly more old school. Like I'm very good, comfortable. I don't mean like whatever. I'm very comfortable doing bilateral sinus lifting and some implants in the anterior and restoring a patient based on more of the principles that I learned when I was earlier in my career rather than zygos, which I think, you know, definitely work, obviously. But I think I think the jury is still out in terms of what those will look like 10 years from now or even sooner. I mean, many people have already seen significant complications. There
Yeah.
are guys out there who are exceptional, who do them well. There have been tremendous advances in the technology, both in the implant design and the technique of the surgery, as well as the restoration. So there are guys out there who are doing it a lot, but I don't do it really at all. I do love kind of minor pathology. I still love using my brain for diagnosis. I do anesthesia like anyone else, and
Yeah. Sedation.
just that kind of stuff I really enjoy doing. But it's really hard for me, which is kind of a theme in my life, to choose between the love that I have for the surgery and the love that I have for the business. It's like you know it's an infinite dilemma, if you will. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like people again, like I said, people are like, why don't you just do the business? I mean, I have a pretty sizable business, but I also have an incredible group of executives who are non-surgeons
Hmm.
who I really don't worry about much of that stuff. And plus, I don't have an aptitude for like the finance piece of it at all. So I don't even look at, not that I don't look at it, but like I don't, it's not my
Worry
focus.
about it.
I mean, I have people much more adept and experienced in that world than I am
Yeah.
to deal with that type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and you mentioned the anesthesia, the sedation. I'm curious, it just because I also want to touch on some of the micro, like insular.
Sure.
What's your cocktail for? Do you use fentanyl, propofol? Do you use ketamine at all?
Yeah, I
Like
use a
that?
lot of ketamine. I use so my typical. So remember, I practice in the northern New Jersey suburbs. The majority of my patients are pretty healthy, thankfully. I treat the gamut of patients. My sedation cocktail, let's say for wisdom teeth or pretty
Hmm.
simple dental alveolar stuff, is based on Versed. What I do is I start with nitrous, 2 milligrams of Versed, and then a third with 50 mics of fentanyl. And then I'll generally lead right with 20 of ketamine. And that for most people,
Yeah,
with the proper expectations and good local anesthesia, is more than enough. Some people need a little bit more. I had a patient today who it wasn't really touching him, and he's like, "Yeah, I feel like I'm awake and whatever," and that happens. I mean, I asked him the obvious question about THC and cannabis, whatever it was, and he was honest, and so we added a little bit more. So when I trained, finished training in 2003. Brevitol was part of
yeah,
what we
yeah.
trained
I've heard
with.
all.
Propofol was just coming into it. We used some Sevo in kids, but it was I used a lot. I presented a poster at Amos when I was basically a year before you are now on 250/30. It was 2 milligrams of Versed, 50 mics of fentanyl, and 30 of ketamine, and it was like easy, great, reproducible, safe. I loved it, and I was that's all I that's kind of where I developed my anesthesia cocktail.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Brevitol, just the hiccups, man.
Yeah, it was a shit show. I mean, it was, listen, it was an art. The guys who trained us, who knew how to use Brev,
Hmm.
um, and use it well, it was an art. They would mix their own Brev and they would use it in a way where they understood it. But it was not something that for me was something that I would translate into my private
Yeah.
practice at all. Propofol I use, not
Hmm.
in any significant in any significant way.
Yeah, it's only if you get there, and like you were saying, you usually don't even get there. You get the ketamine, and then
Yeah.
that's kind of post your surgery.
And again, I know this is oversimplified, but as long as you have good local anesthesia, you
Hmm.
can do anything. Anything. And so it's the key is to be able to do what you need to do. I have a very, very specific way I give local on a four wisdom tooth case. And
Well, let's go into it real quick. The listeners want to hear that. I want to hear this. I mean, I'm sure it's pretty similar, but yeah, let's go into it. Just on the left or
So
right,
I
bottom, top.
start. So what I do is I have 5 carps of lidocaine, 2% with epi, and 3% carbocaine, just 2 carbules. So I start.
Hmm.
I start with. So I patient set up, bite block on the left hand side. I'll give a carpule of a block on the lower right, and then a carpule of carbocaine on the lower right. Then I'll take my third
For a
carb,
block?
yeah,
So
for a
two
block,
blocks.
two
Got
blocks,
it. Got it.
two
Yep. Yep.
blocks. Then I take a third carpule, so now my second of lidocaine, and do basically the upper right.
Yeah.
And so now I've anesthetized the upper right and two blocks on the lower right. Then I'll do a long buckle with half of a
Mm.
carpule of lido, switch the block, go give the other long buckle on the left hand side, and duplicate what I did on the left hand side. So it's
Mm.
a carpule of lido and carbo blocks on the lower, a carpule each, of lido on the top, and half a carpule of long buckle. Then I wait, I write up some of my notes and things like that. And I start with the upper. I basically will take out one, I'll make my incision on 32, or maybe I'll make my incision on 32 and then take out one and then take out 32, switch the block, incision, two blades, usually. And then that's how I take out my wisdom teeth. So
Yeah.
it's usually 1, 32, 17, and then 16. That's
So no
usually
septo.
no
No septo.
septo, no septo, never,
Jeez.
never,
Okay. I'm a big septo
never.
guy. I
Yeah,
like
because
local.
of course you are. That's how you guys are. That you're young, and that's there's no reason for septo. I'll put that on any whatever septo. It works. I mean, there's like I'm not going to say it doesn't work, but I've had some general dentists in my area who have had some issues with septo, and I've seen those patients. And so
Blocks.
septo became a thing 15 years ago or something like
Yeah.
that. Whenever I'm just making that up, it might have been 18, it might have been 10, it might have been
Yeah.
out for 30 years. I have no clue, but it was like pushed maybe
Mm.
15 years ago, 20, in that time frame. And I'd already developed my technique. And so I was comfortable with it. I truly don't believe I know that there is the thing of, basically an acidic environment where you need more
Mhm.
local anesthesia when there's an infection. But I've been doing it for 20 years. I don't, and yet I would wager most people who are my age would tell you, you can just get behind it. You can make
Yeah.
it happen. I mean, septo works. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I don't,
Yeah.
I don't, I don't use
You
it.
don't need
I
it.
don't need it. I don't
And
need it.
just to be clear, I'm not giving block. Dr. Carlos, really hone that in. No blocks,
Yeah,
no blocks with septo. I just, you were saying the long buckles. I give local infiltrations and or long buckles with the septo. I'm doing everything else with Lido though.
right.
So
Yeah. I
basically the
mean,
same
it's
thing.
fair. I mean, there's nothing, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. There's a million ways to skin a cat. Personally, I don't use it. I have it in the office, but I don't use it.
I still have your. Let's just touch on instruments. I know you gotta go. I won't keep you all night. I won't. I won't. You gotta get home, get some sleep. You gotta get your workout in. You
That
gotta get
that
your
I do
20
have to
minutes.
do.
Gotta get that in. I still have the spade that you gave me. The custom made. I love those spades. The back action spade. It's one of my favorite instruments. What instruments do you go to? Say full impacted upper. Say you're because you start with number one usually. You said.
Yeah,
Say you open it up. Are you using a pots? Are you using a spade? Are you using a crane pick?
I use my 77R. I mean,
Straight, Aaron, straight.
I'll pump my TBS BTG set all day long. I mean, the fact is that the 77R with the serrated sides and like the
Mhm.
very very narrow tip works for me. 9 out of
Back
10
action one,
times.
the
Yeah,
one where it's like,
yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
it's like offset. Then I have a 301 that I use. 301's a little bit better to get into tighter spaces. I want to make like an offset 301. I say that, I'm sure it's made somewhere. I just use the straight 301. I do like that spade elevator.
Mm.
Um, to get a little bit higher up if I'm concerned if there's like a crown on number two and I'm taking out a number one, or if I'm concerned about
Mm.
something where I don't want to affect number two as much, but you got to get higher up, then I could use that. It's funny, the instruments I've used have changed more or less. I don't really ever call for east wests anymore. I used to a lot. I we make an east west and they're great in many cases. I do use a crane pick a fair amount when I make a purchase point and bring roots forward or something like that. I use my periosteal like it's, you know, the swashbuckling kind
Everything.
of thing. Yeah, I really do.
It's everything.
I do. Funny enough, I'll talk about like old dog new tricks, and we're talking about Septicane, and I was fine, whatever. I did buy two. They call them elevatomes. It's like a hybrid
Mm.
between the periatome and an elevator. Also from TBS, I'm not pushing them. They happen to be from them. I'm sure there are other companies who make exceptional equivalents, but I've used them and they have helped me significantly, um, for sure.
And then, yeah. No, I was just in it. You use what?
I use a Lindemann burr on a high speed. I use a rear exhaust, rear delivery, high speed handpiece to take wisdom teeth out and to take out all teeth. It is a rare occasion that I use a handpiece. The only time I use a straight really is to level the arch for a full arch case.
All right. Yeah.
I typically don't use them. Many of my partners do. We have deniers throughout our practices, but I don't use them. I train the other way, and I'm very comfortable.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I do like the contra angle. Yeah, I like the contra. I think it fits over there better. For your last one on dental alveolar, for your wisdom teeth on the bottom,
yeah.
full bony pack, you finally open it up. Now you're gonna go section. Are you a section by crown, or do you hemisect in between like one side of the mesial distal?
I it's really the tooth tells me what to do.
Oh, all right,
That's
all
not
right.
bullshit. I mean, I don't. I think if you're too formulaic, so I come at everything from the art creative side, not the mechanical technical kind of
Yeah,
engineering side. So when I see it, when I see the tooth, even if I don't see the tooth and the tooth is fully, full bony impaction, I can't see it at all. Once
right.
I remove the bone on top of the crown of the tooth, now I'm visualizing it. I suppose if I were to have a tendency, unless it's full horizontal, I guess the tendency would be to split between in through the furcation and bring the back half out, and then rotate the mesial root. But if it calls for it, I take the crown down and either separate the roots and bring them forward, or just pop them out with a purchase point. But again, it's all 100% based on the actual tooth,
Mm.
not like, you know,
Yeah,
this
it
is the
depends on the
technique.
tooth,
Yeah.
the positioning. Yeah, the mesioangular, distoangular, because that's going to be different as well. Yeah, no,
So, I
I
mean, a
agree.
distoangular, though, maybe it's the most formulaic. If it's a distoangular tooth, or there's a lot of bone on the anterior aspect of the ramus that sits on the half of it could be a vertical
Yeah.
impaction, but if there's a lot of bone back there, or it's a distoangular, I have no problem just shearing off the, posterior 2/3 of the crown and rotating the tooth backward that way. And then even if it gets still get held up at that point, I'd cut off the front of the crown and bring the roots up,
Mm.
or separate that back root, but that's more difficult. So I think that the distoangular impaction is where I tend to just use a more, prescribed technique, if you will.
Yeah. 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 Those distoangulars, sometimes they can trip you up, and they don't always. The Panarex isn't always respective of exactly those distoangulars.
Yeah.
They'll always be one that.
Well, so I will say to you, if you have any question, the scan is always the move. Not that I scan
Mm.
every wisdom tooth, but the scan is often the move. And the one thing I will say, in terms of, to kind of sum up the wisdom tooth thing, because I think I heard you were talking about a tooth maybe a few weeks ago that took you longer than you thought it should have, and frankly, it took you a long time, with respect and love. But the fact of the based on your words, not mine. Uh, but I will say that truly, as when I came out of residency, I thought I was incredible at taking teeth out. I thought I was like, I'm the best ever at taking teeth out. And 20 years later, I look at that guy and I was like, yeah, you were good for that for then, and I think I've said this to you, like,
Yeah.
if you're not better 20 years from now, you've had a really shitty career. Like, right? You've not improved in any way in 20 years.
Yeah.
There comes a time, thank God I haven't hit it yet. There will come a time where I no longer am as good as I had been. Right? Like my
Right.
hands will not be as good. My eyes certainly are not as good, but thank God these glasses work. But I mean, the fact of the matter is that you will find a time where your skills start to diminish, and that's,
Yeah.
for any surgeon, probably a pretty scary time,
Mm.
probably assume pretty depressing time. But right now, you are still like nowhere near your peak. You're like nowhere near as good as you're going to be, and I don't say that to insinuate anything other than you will continue to improve. Like, you have to. It's all in the reps. Like, you have to get better. Um, Not that you're not exceptional already. You are, as a fully trained oral maxillofacial surgeon, already top 1% of all, anyone doing oral surgery in the world. That's the fact. I don't care, and like I'll get shit from this. That you can put this out there on your teaser. There are tons of general dentists out there who are doing very good oral surgery, right? I mean, there are more and more surgically minded general dentists out there now than there ever
Yeah.
have been, ever. Maybe I play some role in that. Maybe you play some role in that. Probably both of us, others. But the fact of the matter is, Ben Johnson. But the fact of the matter is, and others. The fact is that you could edit this, all these little like hesitations.
Just gotta keep the whole thing
Yeah,
in. I'm gonna keep it all in.
fair. You have to understand a fully trained oral maxillofacial surgeon, board eligible or board
Mm.
certified, is going to be significantly more competent at doing even the most minor oral maxillofacial surgery, oral
Yeah.
surgery out there, period. I mean, it's in the reps, it's in the training, it's in the ability to handle any kind of complication, it's in the ability to be comfortable and confident that anything that comes your way is going to be able to be dealt with. And even if it takes
Handle.
a while, even if it takes, even if you're like, we've all said, and any one of us, like, teeth can be humbling. They can
Mm.
be, even for the most experienced of us. But I mean, you're trained in a real way to handle things. You're going to be more capable. I say that with love to everyone out there.
Just want to give a little back. I have an idea of what you were talking about with Dr. Chavkin now, but besides that,
No,
let me
no, no,
just give a
that
little
wasn't a Chapkin. That was you posted, and you posted something that wasn't a Chapkin.
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
telling you, you posted something. Um, I'm going to say maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago about
Yeah.
about it was a tooth. It took you like a certain amount of time, and you were like, it was tough. Maybe the bone was dense or something. There was some sort of qualifier in there,
Yeah.
and I
Well,
was,
so
go ahead, go ahead.
let me give exactly what it was. I
Okay,
didn't give the full context in the video, so it
okay,
sounded like I'm just a stupid, slow guy. But
no,
listen, it was actually an 18. It wasn't even a 17. It was 18, and 18 is in between 17 and 19, like this. 18 is the tip of the crown was below the CEJ, in between these two roots, wedged in between. Caries, completely caries, blown out, right?
right,
But the roots were ankylosed in the bottom of the mandible.
uh,
And where do you think that nerve was? I don't know. I
right.
don't know. He wouldn't get a CBCT. He wouldn't let me get a CBCT. So now I'm taking this out for an hour and 15 minutes. No CBCT. I'm doing a little drill here, a little drill there. I have no idea where this nerve is. It's either on the buckle or the link,
Can
right?
I give you like huge advice regarding that? So
Please.
you want to do that because A, you want to do the work, and meaning you want to help the patient.
I have to help the patient
Yeah,
now. 7 surgeries
yeah,
have passed this guy up over the
right.
last 15
So
months.
I had a patient recently that came through an orthodontist who had a very similar thing. Number 18 was all the way at the inferior border of the mandible. The kid is actually away for a year right now, but I ended up exposing the tooth because the nerve, what the roots were I mean, we're talking about a young person, maybe 20, 18, 19 years old.
Oh,
So
oh,
number, it was 31. The roots are at the inferior border. The nerve was through CBCT through the roots, and so I
oh,
uncovered it, whatever it is. In any case, A, if the patient refuses the CBCT on any grounds other than radiation exposure, which is a joke, if any on any grounds other than radiation, because the millisieverts involved in a CBCT are minimal relative.
it's
I mean,
nothing. I know.
exactly. So if they're refusing a CBCT based on cost, just do it for no cost. Because you don't
Yeah,
want to be in a situation where you're thinking like, just do it, do the CBCT. I say, I'll tell
that's what I'm
Chavez,
doing now.
Let him do the CBCT, no cost. That's what I say. So do the CBCT, no cost.
That's what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need the CBCT at that point.
Like, there's
Yeah.
no purpose in, like, you don't need to torture yourself or refuse to do the procedure. It's like, it's the
Mm,
same concept as, like, a guy has a leaky root canal adjacent to an area where you want to put an implant in, and you'll see you
yeah.
haven't had enough of this yet. The 90x% of the time that an implant fails next to a root canal, you knew beforehand you should have taken out that tooth or done an apico, and, like, you just didn't, you didn't want
Mm,
to do too much for the guy or whatever it was. I'm telling you now, like, you're gonna, like, become more, not that you're anything but confident, but you're gonna become more definitive in your willingness to do things that are even a hair off of the way, like, in your heart of hearts, you should be
yeah.
doing it. Like, you should absolutely have just had a CBCT in that setting so that you didn't have,
Absolutely. So
yeah,
I don't do exactly what you said
uh,
now. I'm just going to get the
yeah,
CBCT, or I'm not going to do the treatment
yeah,
if it's like,
right,
so yeah, no, that's exactly what I do now. And now all the appointments have cut down significantly in time because there were 3 longer appointments that went because I didn't have a CBCT. And I'm just like, why am I?
right, yeah,
Anyway, you get it. You get it. Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
So that's what that was. But I'm like, I left some information out. It just sounds like I'm the slowest guy. And like, no,
Not at all. Not at all. No,
it did. It did. You got the general dentist. What? It took you? Whatever, man. Whatever.
it's all good. It's all good.
But hey, we're on. You got to get home. You got to get home. I'll let you go now. Thanks again for coming on. You must be exhausted. Everything you're
I'm gonna
going
work
through right
out.
now.
I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna relax. Then I'm gonna work out, and then I'm gonna go to sleep at like midnight. And I got 9 o'clock patient tomorrow. That'll be all right. That'll be all right for sure.
One more day, and then you got Thanksgiving.
So I'll say this. I'm gonna do like a little pitch, or I don't think it's a pitch. It's a little bit of an ad for where I go on Thanksgiving. And if anyone happens to be in northern New Jersey on Thanksgiving morning and you want to come say hello, come say hello. So there's a bar. It's a dive bar. It's in Hillsdale, New Jersey. It's called Lou's. It is family owned and operated since like the 60s. And we go there on Thursday mornings. Not Thursday morning, not Thursday mornings in general. That would be pretty fucked up. We go there on Thanksgiving morning, a group of us, and now we've been doing it for like 10, 11 years. And we have an amazing 3 hours every single Thanksgiving morning with very, very good friends. And now, like, I have kids who are 21 and a kid who's 21, a kid who's 18. Now they come and like their friends come, and it's the best 3 hours basically of every year. It's like a tradition like no other.
That's
That's really
awesome.
what it is. So Lou's Hillsdale Thursday morning, 9 a.m. I'll be there if you want to come back.
Luz.
No, Lou apostrophe S.
Ah,
Lou's
L O
Tavern,
U.
not lose loose like light, but Lou's Tavern.
Oh, that's awesome. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, yeah. So
Finally, you get a day off, huh?
yeah, I'm working Friday. Are you working Friday? You're working the day
Of
after
course I am.
Thanksgiving.
You think Dr. Chavez is gonna let me on Friday?
Chavez. He's the best.
Every time I
I
see a
miss
patient named
Chavez. Yeah.
every time I see a patient named Chavez, I'm like, hey, I'm taking out your cousin's tooth. Do you want to see him?
It's great. It's
Make
great.
sure I pass on the joke from you to him. But hey, dude, thanks again for coming. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Appreciate it to you too.
Yeah.
All good things.
And we'll rekindle this again next year. Maybe I'll see you before then. That'd be
I'm
nice.
sure you will. Yeah, we'll definitely get out.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right,
You get
man.
home safe
You
and
too.
we'll talk soon.
Happy and healthy. Be well.
Thank you. Thank you
Of
too.
course.